All right, Viking fans, as we know, the Vikings defense didn't do very well against the Eagles. Can Ed Dontell turn that around? I'm going to talk about that and more next in 3, 2, 1. Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Still working on Instagram. I am wanting you to go down, hit subscribe, like, and comment. Your comments make me better. I get to hear what you think. I get to learn on where the direction of my show goes. As you notice, I gradually improve the look and hopefully the content on my videos, and you're a big part of that. So if you are subscribed, make sure you like, hit a comment below. I appreciate it. Now, I'm going to hit Twitter. I haven't done this since the preseason. I'm going to hit Twitter on what a lot of the media is talking about, and some experts that, I trust, and, they're taking quotes from players. They're giving us stats. That's where we get this stuff. So because we're cheap and we don't want to pay for it. So that's where we get it. Let that guy pay for it. He's getting paid to do this. I'm not. So let's go. Let's go through here. Sean Borman says Adam Thielen via K-Fan on the Vikings new staff. It gave us more confidence when for some reason he typed it twice. We saw how guys reacted to a tough loss. You didn't see coaches yelling at players. You didn't see any negativity after the game. It was just trying to figure out how to get better. That is a welcome change to the Vikings. I'm sure no one wants to go to work and get yelled at. What an awful work experience. You're a professional. You want to win. You know you want to win. The coach honestly should respect the fact and respect you. He should know you better than a quitter. He should know you better than a guy that's going to slough off and be happy with what you got. If that player exists, you need to get rid of him. If you're still on this team, it's because you want to win, man. And they know it, and that's why they kept you on this team. So it should be a mutual respect this day and age. Honestly, there's a lot of motivated players on this team. There wasn't a lot of enthusiasm on the sidelines in that game because we got punched in the mouth really early. But I said that, hey, don't give up on the Vikings because they didn't on you. So I'll keep saying that. They kept going. They kept going at it. Now next, Paul Allen. He's talking about Aiden Hutchinson, who's a very good player. Immortality in the making. Lions defensive end Aiden Hutchinson has missed both practices up to the Vikes game with a thigh. This is Paul Allen saying he was my favorite player in the 22 draft and had 3 sacks versus Washington. Called him Defensive Rookie of the Year in March. Hope he's able to play. Iron sharpens iron. I don't know if I share the same sentiment. I hope he rests because he has a long season ahead of him and he might want to sit out this game. But hey, Paul Allen says, hey, I want to win with Hutchinson. Hey, I respect that. Going on, Will Raggets, who I totally respect, very fair dude. I love his writing. This guy, he doesn't shade it one way or the other. He tells you the facts. He tells you the story. He doesn't embellish at all, and I love it. And that's from he's from SI.com. Will Raggets, Greg Joseph, and Ryan Wright are locked in. The coverage units are shining. Patrick Peterson blocked field goal in Philly. Could have been a game-changing play. Yeah, if we just went to the outside and instead of kept going straight, he would have had blockers. Under new coordinator Matt Daniels, the Viking special teams are a major early bright spot. Totally agree. I said that myself after the game. 5 things to like, 5 things not to like. Bam. It was special teams. Our kicker and punter are rock solid. The Barry releasing Barry, keeping right was the right move. It looks really good. They look really smart for doing it. We flipped the field on Philly. We had plenty of time. So we flipped the field on defense. We flipped the field on special teams. We just didn't execute. we were really pressing in the second half on offense. Chris Thomason, not afraid to ask a question. If Vikings need an extra motivation Sunday versus Detroit, they can look back to 12-5-21 when winless Lions stunningly won on last play. Here he's quoting Justin Jefferson. It definitely did not leave a good taste in our mouth. Definitely ready to get back to them, said Justin Jefferson. Again, Chris Thomason. Oh, I just copied it twice. My bad. Same quote. Chris Thomason, DC Ed Dontell. When I asked today who could start if Harrison Smith concussion, by the way, Harrison Smith is out. So far, he hasn't practiced. Can't play if he can't play Sunday with his concussion. Just Josh Mateus or Lewis Seen, both will be in the mix. Those are things that we don't know. That's days away. We're prepared, and you could see both of them either or. So, yeah, Thomason, was just asking the question about Harrison Smith being out 2 days in a row. Did not practice. And he says official injury report was Harrison Smith concussion, cornerback Andrew Booth quad, again not practicing. So, rough start for our rookies so far this year. They've been missing time. Will Raggets again. The Vikings defense was gashed by the Eagles in the first half on Monday night, leading to criticism of their decision to sit in the soft zone and rarely blitz Jalen Hurts. Defensive coordinator Ed Dontell says issues were about execution, not scheme. I watched the whole press conference. He says that, and there'll be more. I'll read the tweets. I'll talk about my reaction later. Pretty standard practice here. Vikings OC Wes Phillips confirms the Vikings have debriefed number 3 QB David Blau on the Lions. He's our practice squad quarterback. We got him from the Lions. Very convenient. Blau played for their current coaching staff in 2021 and was final 2022 camp cut. Quarterback's usually the best guy to ask on some of that stuff. That was Wes Phillips. Kevin Seifert, DC Ed Dontell. So this show is about Ed Dontell. I'm just reading tweets to get you up to speed, and a lot of these have to do with the defense. So Kevin Seifert, DC Ed Dontell on the first half versus the Eagles. There's no question our execution was off. I asked Dontell about the scheme he used, which led to 24 points, 347 yards allowed by halftime. He disputed he played only a shell defense, calling the term overused. I heard that. He was a little defensive, but he did it with a smile, of course, as he does. And finally, to wrap up a loose end, Dontell said that cornerback Cameron Dantzler, it was Cameron Dantzler, misread what was in front of him on the coverage bust and led to a 53-yard TD pass Monday night. Rookie Caleb Evans replaced Dantzler late, but no starting lineup change is expected. So, I had some. I'm gonna address that one. We all thought it was Cameron Bynum that he let him get past him, but it was Cam Dantzler that was on the coverage, and it looked like he released the guy thinking Bynum would pick him up. Neither of them. Bynum had to had to turn around and go running after him, but he was way far gone. No chance. It was touchdown. But apparently Cameron Dantzler was supposed to go with him. Now, I question two things. Why, I question who was responsible, because I heard that. And if it was Dantzler, why would you run that coverage? It just made more sense that would go to Bynum. So who knows? Donatell's got to fix that. Now, going on more with Kevin Seifert, here's some stats. Defensive through 2 games. They played base defense 13.2% of the time. Nickel 86% of the time. Dime 0. 7 DBs 0.8% of the time. The nickel 86% of the time explains a lot. 86% of the time, second highest in the NFL per ESPN stats info. So we are in nickel, and this was my key going into this last game, is that Irv Smith Jr. had forced teams to play nickel against us, and then we could run on them. Well, teams are running on us, and we are playing nickel 86% of the time. It might be a different if you're playing a safety instead of a linebacker, but apparently we're playing nickel 86% of the time, guys. And we're getting run on. I'll talk more about that. Kevin Seifert, Vikings defensive coverage through 2 games per ESPN studio. Okay, sorry, here's a man 7.7%, lowest in the NFL. So we're in man coverage only 7% of the time, lowest in the NFL. Cover 2, 46.2% of the time, highest in the NFL. So harping back to the days of Leslie Frazier and the Tampa 2 defense he brought, which he learned in Tampa. Pretty clear identity there for better or worse. So we are a cover 2 defense. I get it. I know you have to play cover 2 every once in a while, but we're not playing man at all. We're 7% of the time. I want to know what the deal is there. I want to know, do we have the personnel? Is this the defense you want to play? We'll find out. Kevin Seifert continues. The Vikings are now entering a period of disruption in their normal schedule. They have a short week following Monday Night Football. We're in that week. Then a trip to London after that. And then a return without a bye. Players are off today, and the team isn't scheduled to practice until Thursday. So they're off on Wednesday. This was a tweet from Wednesday. So this is a pretty. I was asked if this was a must-win for us. I said no, but obviously we'd want to win it. But when you look in the grand scheme of things of our upcoming schedule, getting 2 losses, having to fly to London, and then having no bye the next week. That's scary. I know the first 6 games of our schedule were going to probably be our toughest. We have another bad stretch later in the season, but the fact that this schedule was a lot, and now that Detroit's better than we expected, this looks a little bit tougher to swallow, right? So yeah, it's important to get this victory because of our upcoming schedule. Now let me talk what I think about. Sorry, you lost me there. Where did I go? There we go. I'm still figuring things out. All right, Ed Dontell, man. I didn't have a big vote of confidence after looking at Greg Seifert's stats he's been putting out there about our defense. We seem to be a very passive defense. We rush 4 and we cover 2. We rush 4 and we cover 2, and we can't stop the run. So maybe our defense wasn't that good week 1, and it was all about the Eagles, but we did get a pass rush with the 4, so it was really good there. But then there's times when we don't, right? We don't get to the quarterback with that situation. Why are we playing so soft? He's saying that we missed assignments. That's throwing players under the bus. It could be true, though. I hope it's true, because that was really soft defense. This is not going to fly against Detroit either, man. It's not going to. I do believe Philly has better receivers, but Detroit's got some decent skill position players, and they're running at will on teams. They got over 180 yards twice now. We've gotten like 100 and like 110 maybe, and then like 65. So guys, Detroit is going to run the ball. Donatell's got to come up with a better game plan than that. He's rushing 4, cover 2. You might as well call it the Ed Dontell rush 4 cover 2 defense. Cover 2 shell defense, because that's what it was. He says it wasn't. Says that's overused, but when you can draw a half circle across the football field, it's a cover 2. I had faith in this guy. I still do. He's a smart dude. You got Mike Pettin, and there's an analysis. Hopefully they are doing that collaboration deal, and someone there is saying, hey, what was with that defense last week? And he goes, okay, I need to make some changes. Let's do it. Because Philly did it. They were wanting their D coordinator fired going into week 2. They turned that around like that. We got the personnel, just like the Eagles got the personnel. We can change this story going into week 3. Ed Dontell, you got to make some changes. We go from a game like we had against the Packers to the Phillies. Or I say the Phillies, the Eagles. Gosh. What was going on there? I also I read something to the fact that we average the worst in the league for having players in the box. Like we're less than 6 players in the box, like 5.5, and we're like the worst in the league. So we're not playing a run defense ever. We're got 5 guys in the box half the time, according to that stat I read. I was looking for it. I think Greg Seaver put it out. I couldn't find it. But hey, if we're in cover 2, we're playing man only 7% of the time. Cover 2, man 7% of the time. We only got 5 guys in the box, half the plays. That's not a defense I want to see, guys. I don't want to see that. Hey, and it's going to flip around. These guys are going to get together. I'm hoping, praying for that. Man, KOC, take charge. Tell these guys the defense I want to see got to be better than that. Let's go, Skull Vikings. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm Dave. Thank you for listening to me. If you like it, make sure you hit subscribe, click like, leave a comment. I appreciate it. You can also follow me on other social media, Skull World, on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Still working on Instagram. See you next time. Cue the music. Thank you, Viking fans, for listening. Make sure you catch my other episodes. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Thank you. Skull Vikes.